It's Wednesday, March 24th. Guys, welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, six-time world heavyweight champion, two-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the BOAT. And guys, we taking questions today, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Like I said, I've been working on my golf swing. I'm feeling like I'm getting a little bit of extra distance out of the 7-iron, taking it up a notch. You know what, man? I'm just hoping that that the wheels don't fall off when I get out on the course.
Like you put in all this prep, all this work, and you've gassed yourself out before you can.
You get out there and just get the ball going everywhere.
Yeah.
But I feel good. I feel good about myself. But what about you, dog?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great right now. And I have a question for you that the fans have been wanting to know ever since we went off the air Monday, and we're going to get into it. It was a controversial issue you brought up. I want to ask you something about it here in just a second. But I'm feeling great, Book. I'm feeling great. I'm ready to get into it today. By the way, shout out where you are in the chat around the world. Let us know where you're watching. But the controversial question, Booker, that I have to ask you. We ended the show a little bit on a cliffhanger on Monday.
Okay.
Was it a turkey or was it a chicken, and how did it taste?
Actually,
you thought I was going somewhere else, but I want to know. The people need to know. Was that any good?
Knocked it out the park, dog. She knocked it out the park. It was damn good. I even had leftovers yesterday, man. And I put everything in the oven, cut it up real good, and I had a big portion too, man, and I knocked it all out. And she was looking at, she said, "Babe, is there any more of that chicken?" I go, "Nah, baby, I ate all of it." She go, "Man, is it time for me to make another one?" I go, "It might be, So I'm pretty excited, man. The recipe came out right. You know what? She put the right burn on it. You know what I mean? I always tell her, you know what I mean? When you buy a chicken like that, and then you have a recipe, right, for it. And the recipe tell you 2 hours, cook it for 2 hours. I tell her to cook it for 2 hours and 45 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes, because that 2 hours, that was for white folks. I'm just saying, man.
You're just saying.
We just have a sort of different temperature, man. It got to have a right burn on it, a texture. You know what I mean? And sometimes, it's a little different, like going to a church, it's a little different.
Different.
So it's a lot different. You know what I mean?
And I know we've talked about it so many times before. I still don't know why the experiences are so different from the white church and the black church.
Hey, man, God, speaks to people differently. I think that's what it is. In black churches, that's the way they speak to us. And then, the preacher got to be on time with the guy playing the organ. It ain't like that in white churches. You know what I mean? You hit a note, the preacher hit a note, the organ player, zzz, he got to hit that right behind. That's what I always wondered about. I always wondered, why did the organ player, the black churches, always got ready for the setup? It's like a wrestling match. You get ready to go home. You start doing all your spots. And by the end of the preacher doing the thing, the band and everybody just it's just nuts, man. I used to love it, man. Reverend Asa W. Sampson down there in South Park, right there.
Oh, that was your guy?
Yeah, man. That was my guy. My mother used to take, but I used to get so scared when my mother would, shout and then pass out, and just I used to, and she would do every time. And I'm like, what? As a kid, that is a experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm serious.
No, I'm sure. If I was in church and my mother passed out, I think that would be an experience I remember.
used to think my mother was dying every Sunday. Every Sunday. This is the one. This is the big one. You know?
I'm telling you, it's funny. We've been talking about Coming to America too, and I know you haven't seen it yet, still, right?
Yeah.
But I'm always, whenever this conversation comes up, I am reminded of Arsenio Hall in the first one when he plays the pastor. I don't remember the pastor's name, but when they're in the church, he's like, "Let me tell you about love. The thing about love."
Yeah.
And then he's like, and if love is wrong, I don't want to be right.
What's crazy is, man, I've gone to several black churches, man, and it's the same MO, man. And everyone. No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing or anything like that, man. I'm just saying, man, you definitely get your feel of entertainment, everything. You get a little piece of everything, as well as the word. Not like Joel Osteen. He's just gonna tell you a story. That organ, the band, they got their part. They play their role. But when he do his thing, it ain't gonna be a backup. It's almost like you got your theme music when you're walking. You know what I mean? It's crazy though. But I love it.
Didn't you say you went to a church one time and the band played your theme song?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was striking because I was sitting there and I think I had my head down. I was praying. I was thinking about something. I can't think of what it was. And the band was, playing. And I was like, I looked up and I bumped Charmel and I go, I can't believe this, man. They playing my theme music here in church. And I wanted to walk out of the church. But I didn't want to, I don't think everybody got it, hopefully, and I never went back to that church ever again because I just thought for me, when I go to church, I go, to hear the word. I go to, try to get something out of it. And that same church, the preacher told me, he goes, I see Booker T, he still haven't cut his hair. And I go, God gave me my hair. Just because he didn't give you any hair, don't blame me, you know what I mean? I'm like, I was so mad, you know what I mean? It was like, why should I cut my hair, And so it was just crazy. I say, God got the clippers, So when God want to cut it, he'll cut it for me. I wish I had the argument behind me to back me up. I just said that right now. That's the word, dog. That's the word, man. But heck yeah, but like you say, you put out a lot of questions for today. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of questions here inside the Hall of Fame. Want to bring you inside the Hall of Fame today, guys. Let you get your champagne wishes, caviar dreams, your piece of the action. It's all about getting your piece of the action. And a lot of times that's nothing more than such and such from such and such, giving you a little bit of props, and that's what we're here to do today. What you got, Brad?
Well, speaking of, we got a $5 super chat already from Bisley TV saying, Booker, huge fan. My top 5 all time once pandemic is over. You should come to Chicago or Chi-Town for a meet and greet. Also a fan of Brad. I like how you threw that tag on there. Any plans to go to Chi-Town once the pandemic's over?
Heck yeah, man.
Chi-Town Heat.
Chi-Town, not too far from Gary, Indiana, baby. Where my wife, my lovely wife is from. Yeah, man. I definitely plan on getting back to Chicago and doing some stuff ASAP. Hopefully, we can bring reality of wrestling in the area. If not reality of wrestling, merge with one of the indie companies up that way and bring the whole crew and do something big. So yeah, man. Heck yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Appreciate the super chat as well.
Speaking of Chi-Town, I did hear that our former Diamonds champion, Kylie Ray, coming out of retirement, is going to be wrestling there locally in Chicago. So shout out to Kylie Ray. We always loved having her down here. I know she was a big fan of the internet. The internet was a big fan of her. So it's good that she's coming back.
You know what, man? She never left. Took a break. She just took a break. And now Kylie Ray is back. And hopefully I can meet up with her in Chicago and we can do a mixed tag match, with somebody and just shake up the whole world and 21. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
I see a sky with a reindeer carve out on the run. I see it train moving all too fast, but I'm not leaving. And you go round and round and round, and you cannot see. Out the right behind you, walking the tree. You look so beautiful today, and now the game is changing. Just like a stranger, suddenly knows everything.
Shoop. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Yeah, film study tomorrow, Wrestling 101. Guys, you want to get in on it, go to realityofwrestling.com. Sit in on it. We got a lot of the students. I went down to school just last night and did some 5-minute matches and just to see
How
where
they looking?
yeah, actually, not bad. One kid came in all the way from Canada. He's going to be here. He told me he was going to be here for like a 2-week session, and I was asking him last night. I say, "How long are you going to be here for?" He go, "So you're going to be here for a couple of weeks?" He go, "I might be here a lot longer." But all the way from Canada, Battle Arts, one of Battle Arts students.
Santino, right?
Santino Morella, little school over there. And I tell you, man, not a bad student. He's actually got something. You could tell he got something. You just got to bring it out of him. So I'm looking forward to getting back into my school. I got another couple of weeks before I take that second shot of Moderna. And once I get that Moderna in me, man, I'm letting loose. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be all out. So I'm looking forward to getting back to work with Reality of Wrestling and really do something big because I see we got some competition with this company down in Dallas now, man, and I can't keep my hand on the pulse of what's going on around the Texas region because this is my thing, and I just want all you suckers out there to know. But I'm looking forward to getting back to work.
Let's go to a super chat real quick from a wrestling historian with the $5 wants to know, what tag team would you have liked to go up against Harlem Heat had your brother joined WWE at a WrestleMania? So what WrestleMania opponent would be best for Harlem Heat from WWE? I guess back when you'd first joined WWE.
Yeah. Tag team back then probably been Edge and Christian. Or the Dudleys. Something.
Edge and Christian would have been great if they were the. Would you think y'all would have been the heels in that situation?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Look,
y'all could have really put some heat on those boys.
With two brothers from the hood that hurt someone, and I think we would have been the heels, no matter what in that match, and we would have beat the hell out of Edge and Christian. We would have beat the hell out of every tag team in the WWE. It would have been a smorgasbord of bodies left it by the way after Harlem Heat would have did our thing. A lot of people got real lucky that Harlem Heat didn't come through because it would have been like a tornado of flame burning through that company. Trust me.
I'll tell you this. I have the perfect opponents for Harlem Heat. Because here's the thing. Edge and Christian, that's great. I mean, that's fun. I like it. Y'all are so much bigger than those guys.
That's why it was a good matchup. For
y'all. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
Hardy Boys, same thing. Dudley's a little bit better from a physicality standpoint, but the perfect team I would have liked to see. Harlem Heat at WrestleMania challenging for the WWE Tag Team Championships against the APA. Farouk and Bradshaw. That would have been a match. Man, you Bradshaw, Stevie, Farouk. Woo.
I could dig that too. That's a fight. That's a good fight.
That's a good one.
It's not going to be a whole lot of frills in that or anything. That's why I say someone like Edge and Christian, because I need somebody to be able to fly for me. I need somebody to be able to, bump, and do certain things. And I'm not going to be able to get Bradshaw and Run to do that kind of stuff. Those guys are going to be, wanting to be more grounded. Myself, I'm going to be, one of the guys that's going to try to take a few risks as well. And I'm probably out of those four names you just mentioned, I'm the,
You're the guy's gonna take all the heat.
Exactly.
You're gonna be bumping around.
but I don't want to take a whole lot of risk, and do a whole lot of things. But I am going to be the guy that's going to be flying. I'm the guy that's going to be bumping the most. So I need another guy in there that can bump with me at the same time. So that's what I'm thinking about when I say Edge and Christian or the Dudleys. I know I can, get those guys to, figure a way out how to, make this thing feel a certain way.
There was a documentary, like a short documentary on WWE Network the other day, about the APA and just how great of a team they were for the time that they came in. And I guess I didn't realize it because there were so many great tag teams at the time, but the APA, their whole gimmick, I'm not talking about like the acolytes where they would draw little things on their chest. I wasn't too much into that. But when they became the APA and people would come to pay them off to protect them.
Acolytes protection program. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had the door.
I mean, yeah.
Remember they had the door and you couldn't just walk into the office. You had to knock on the door first and then go through the thing. That was so great. I mean, them together really, they clicked. And I think that obviously Ron Simmons had great tag team partners in his career. Bradshaw's the best partner he ever had.
Yeah, but when those guys went out and kicked the ass, they went out and kicked the ass too. I mean, when they got paid to do a job, like Ernie Ladd said back in the day, I'm paid to do a job, and and I do that job, and I do that job well. So that's what those guys did very well. Bradshaw, a guy that I've been running around the world with for many, many years. Like I said, me and him, we tag team in Korea back in the day, back when we were young. And it was crazy. We both got power bombed in the match, by this Korean guy who thought he was Hulk Hogan, but they paid us good. We had a great tour. But to see him and I in his book, together, as a photo of him and I in there. It's crazy that him and I, we've been together for this many years. And we always been the type to want to go out and perform. We always wanted to go out and work. And then, John was one of the best partiers in the world, man. He was literally one of the best partiers. Nobody could go as long as John. He could drink as long as anybody. He could stay up as long as anybody. It was just a good time, man. And it was like that from the first time we were out there. It's great, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I've seen that picture before. I was trying to find it here so we can show the audience. But the thing about Bradshaw, by the way, impending Hall of Famer, he's going to be inducted as a part of the 2020 class, along with 2021.
Yep.
There's been several names announced, and some actually names taken off of the upcoming Hall of Fame ceremony that we should talk about.
We're going to be talking about that as well. We're definitely going to be talking about that.
But Bradshaw, when he became JBL, as a fan, when I first saw him, because it literally was within a couple weeks, he and Farouk break up on TV. He cuts his hair. He's like kind of blonde now. And then all of a sudden he comes out. He's like, my name's JBL. And he's wearing a suit and he has a limousine. And it was one of the most dramatic shifts I think any character has ever had. Yet he pulled it off effortlessly. And he had such a great run as JBL. John Bradshaw Layfield, I hated him so much. I can't explain to you how much I hated that guy. And you would think a well-dressed Texan would be right up my alley. I hated him.
What it reminded me of was Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it reminded me of, just with a Texas twist on it. And John, no better than John to be able to pull something off like that, because everything he did was something that a Texan would do in a cowboy movie. Just throw hands, throw boots, throw clotheslines. John did. I don't remember John doing anything else outside of that. Of course, a suplex or something in there, something wrestling related. But he was like one of the old cowboys in the cowboy movie. And the thing is, or he was like, just say for instance, it's like one of these great karate movies, and everybody in the movie does kung fu. And then they finally get to the end, and the bad guy, he's an American, and he doesn't do kung fu, and he throw hands, and the same, karate guy that's been killing everybody and whooping everybody's ass, he had more trouble with that guy that does nothing but throw hands. That's what I loved about JB.
You remember Bloodsport?
Yeah, exactly.
You know who I'm talking about? That one guy from Bloodsport?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's who JBL's like. Or really, he's kind of like from a character. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was saying from a character, he's kind of like Ted DiBiase, as you mentioned. Ted DiBiase meets Stan Hansen. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like kind of combo of the two. Yeah.
Just like I say, it's just something that anybody can't pull off. But John, being a guy from Texas, seeing Dallas growing up, J.R. Ewing, being able to tap into that.
J.R. Ewing, 100%.
Look, man, I mean, it's very simple. Guys like John and myself, we stole everything. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Between these two. The top. Oh my goodness! An elbow and a forearm right to the face, and another one, and that's a stunning elbow to the face. Oh, and look at this, she just raking Angela's face across the middle. Oh my goodness, that's hard to watch.
Oh man, what is she thinking?
Oh no! Top rope superplex from the champion. If enough damage hasn't been done already to Angela, that has got to be the exclamation point. She's looking for the 450. Oh! From the top rope, she's calling for shooting star press. Shooting star press. Cover 1, 2, 3.
Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. Brad, you was alluding to Hall of Fame, baby.
Yes, sir.
That's what it's all about, too, man. It's about the Hall of Fame. Not just this Hall of Fame, but WWE Hall of Fame getting ready to go down. 2021 class, as well as 2020 class, too, right?
Yeah, they do. They're doing them together.
Yeah. JBL finally going to get the ring, like we said, which is a great thing. I thought JBL should have had the ring, a long time when I got it. I thought he should have been in the same class as I, because our careers have been so connected in so many different ways. But what do you think about the names that's been leaked?
Well, so we know there's been a couple confirmed, but I do want to reiterate the 2020 class if people forgot. These are the people who are going to be going in 2020. JBL, obviously well-deserved. British Bulldog, will be going in posthumously, obviously well-deserved. Jushin Thunder Liger, the New World Order, and the Bella Twins. That's going to be the 2020 class that gets inducted. One name actually left off of that, which we'll talk about, Batista, will no longer be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Steve said, "Look, man, I'm gonna wait till the pandemic's over. I need a crowd. I need everybody to be there." And you know, who was that when we did the Hall of Fame, and it was so late, and who was that? Goldberg.
It was Goldberg.
And nobody was there.
I know. I felt so bad.
Everybody said, "Man, I'm going to bed." I think we stayed, right?
We stayed for the whole thing. Well, the funny thing is, when you go back and watch the broadcast, they panned to you about 4 times during his speech, right? Like they keep coming back to Booker T, Booker T, Booker T. And it's because I think that it was just me, you, Charmel, you, and Farrah. That was it. That's it. You know, I felt so bad. Because, you know, what are you laughing at? It was true. They panned to you like 4 times. I'm not making that up.
I got a hell of a lot of airtime that night. Oh my God, man. It's crazy, dog. Yeah. So Batista say, I want to do it when the fans are there and I want to go first. Because that ain't gonna happen to me. You know, I'm glad that didn't happen to me when I did it. You know, I'm glad.
Oh no, I mean you had packed audience, especially in 2019 when I was there. The audience was packed, but
you know, Madison Square Garden, man, Madison Square Garden sold out. I'm telling you, man, it was off the chain. As far as you know, when I first did it, the people made me feel so loved, man, in the garden, and because I got a little, little piece of New York, you know, as far as being, you know, Harlem Heat and representing the city for so many years. So I remember one time I was on the subway, and guys said, "Hey, man, you Booker T from Harlem Heat, right?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm Booker T from Harlem Heat." He goes, "Man, 110th Street, right?" And I go, "Yeah, 110th Street." You know what I mean? He goes, "Man, I used to live right down the street from you, man." Yeah. And I was like, "Man, that's you, dog. That's you." It was crazy, you know, because I'm sitting there just lying. You know what I mean? My brother, we made up Artie's pool hall and, you know, and everything. None of it was real. And the brother say he grew up with me. I didn't know if he was crazy or what, you know, but I let it go.
But what do you think overall, even with Batista being out of that 2020 class? I think everybody well deserved from JBL, British Bulldog, Juice and Thunder Liger, NWO, Bella Twins. That all kind of checks out to me, right?
No, man, heck yeah, man. All those guys from Liger who went out there, guys, he did it. He's still doing it. Okay, I don't think Liger is retired yet.
I don't think so.
And he has been the cornerstone of representing the country of Japan for so many years, and he's done it here in the United States for so many years. He's wrestled, so many of the American wrestlers. I think, did I get a chance to wrestle? I don't think I got a chance to wrestle. I wrestled Ultimo Dragon. I didn't get a chance to wrestle Thunder Liger. But yeah, man, he deserves the Bellas. They definitely have, did their thing. And it seemed like they're going in at the perfect time. While they're doing so much, they can come out there still looking fabulous. That's what I like about, the Hall of Fame and being able to get in at the right time. I didn't come. I can still do the spinneroni on stage, so
no one said, "Man, what the hell happened to the book?"
Man, I mean, what happened to this dude? No, so definitely those ladies deserve to be in there. The NWO. I mean, come on, that faction. I just feel like that faction just had like 10 years left in them. They really did. That faction had about 5 to 8 years. Let's say 5 to 8 years left as far as making. They left so much money on the table. They're still selling the NWO T-shirts today. That's how relevant those guys, made the business at that time from a totally different perspective. The perspective, let's talk about that for a second. The NWO changed the name of the game as far as who's the bad guy? Who's the bad guy now? Those guys, made being the bad guy cool. Everybody wanted to be a part of the NWO. The faction grew so big, it was like, they had to break it up in sections. That's, the whole company at one part in time was NWO members. I think I was one of the only guys who wasn't NWO, but they definitely made wrestling something you wanted to watch on Monday night because something was going to happen. And the NWO, man, those guys were cool. Everybody wanted to be a part. I mean, every fan was too sweet. And every fan wanted to be a part of it. Every young kid, wanted to, wear that black and white. So, man, those guys were definitely made a mark. And JBL, it needs to be said. That need to be said. The guy did everything in this business.
Couple of super chats coming in real quick. Let's get to them before they go away. Stellar Justin Lopez with $10 says The Rock announced a few months back he's rebooting the Scorpion King. He won't star, only produce. What if they cast Roman as the new Scorpion King and it helps add to a potential match down the line? I think that would be cool. Roman could pull off the Scorpion King, right?
Man, I think Scorpion King is definitely one of those movies that could, put you in the limelight and make your career. Should Roman do it just because, The Rock did it? I wouldn't say that would be the only reason or anything, but he has that, I was just looking at that one, it was a photo that's going around right now online. And it's Roman in the back, right in the gorilla position. And he's looking in the mirror and he's got that big thing on his right hand where, it looked like Thanos.
Like the Infinity Gauntlet, right?
Yeah, and I go, man, what an awesome picture. Like, wow. I say, that's a star right there. That's what I was saying when I saw that photo. I say, man, that's a star right there. So can Roman pull the role off? Of course, but damn it, I want to roll. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't gonna just sit here and put Roman over, man. I might, want to slide in and get an audition to play. Give me something. Just give me a piece. Like I just said a second ago, with all of you guys, you want your piece of the action, your champagne wishes, your caviar dreams. That's what I want too. So look here, man. Roman will be good, but hey, give me a shot at it.
Oh, you want to be the Scorpion King?
Hey, man, I already played the Scorpion King once, right?
That's true.
You remember that?
I do remember that.
And my role was
critically acclaimed.
It was a blockbuster, okay? It was a blockbuster. It was bigger than The Rocks. It was bigger than everything. It was bigger than Kane, See No Evil. It was bigger than everything. So my thing is this. I still got the juice, and I would love to do a shot at it.
Well, you know what? If people want to check out your acting chops, they can check out Penance Lane, available on all streaming platforms. They can see the movie that you were in with John Schneider.
And the thing is, I wasn't just in the movie. I was a star in the movie. All right? Sure. I played a supporting cast, okay? Co-star, almost. You know what I mean? So my role in Penance was one of those roles to where you say, man, this guy, there again, I see something in him. This young man could be a star. And that's all somebody got to say before the phone starts ringing off the hook. Trust me, I know, man. Trust me, I know that. Because right now, my phone's already ringing off the hook. But after the world see Penance, it's gonna be one of those things. It's gonna be one of those things. I mean, literally. But stick around, guys. We got a whole lot to talk about. Hall of Fame inductees going down. We'll be back in a minute.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the movie Trivia Schmodown. Yeah, good evening here tonight. Who's ready for some matches, huh? Let's Schmodown. Questions are going to be asked to the field. They are each worth 1 point. Who plays Laura in the 2017 film Logan?
Daphne Keene.
Daphne Keene.
Round number 2, each competitor is going to get a spin at the wheel.
Final round 3 begins.
Niet.
Sam Whitwer has been eliminated.
Celebrity Schmodown, free-for-all style.
Let me see.
Team Classic.
This is why we play the Schmodown.
Rising Sun. And your winner.
MMA or boxing, it's like you want to see the two best scrapping it out. The Schmodown, as we know, we got a little bit WWE flavor to it.
And I'm going to give him a show in Chicago.
Get your tickets. We are coming with the fire.
Movie Trivia
Shoop. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Talking about the Hall of Fame, 2021 going down in Florida, baby. They're gonna get that thing done. I think they're gonna be shooting it like early or something like that, but I don't think it's gonna be any fans for the Hall of Fame or anything like that. But I'm looking forward to finally seeing 2020 go in as well as class of 2021. What do you think about the great Khali getting the phone call, stepping inside the Hall of Fame?
We know Khali.
I mean, the thing is, when the last time you saw great Khali?
The last time I saw the great Khali, well, you know what? I'm lying. On TV, he did a run-in. Do you remember he did a run-in for the Punjabi prison match with Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton, I think, for the WWE title? He did a run-in.
How long ago was that? Maybe 3-4 years, maybe?
4 years? Oh, yeah, 4 years maybe?
Yeah.
4 years maybe? I mean, the only time I saw him before that was when we did that 100-year-olds party. Do you remember that? The guy who turned 100?
Yeah.
Khali was there. The great Khali, and I said this earlier when we were talking. I feel like the great Khali had a very short run, right? I mean, in WWE, he came in, I think, in like 06, and really, he was gone by what? 2011?
Yeah, I mean, but he stuck around. I mean, he made appearances.
He made appearances, yeah.
Yeah.
But I kind of liken him to Yao Ming going into the NBA Hall of Fame. A guy who was around for a short amount of time. He had an impact. He had an entire country behind him. Is he at the same level as some of the other big men of the past, like Shaquille O'Neal or Hakeem Olajuwon? No. But does he have a spot in there? Absolutely. So, great Khali. He's going in. I remember his debut, though. Great Khali's debut on SmackDown is when he came in, he tore the turnbuckle off, padding went everywhere, and he chopped The Undertaker. And they went off the air with The Undertaker on the ground and Khali standing over him with like this low shot. I remember that. It was a great debut.
And The Undertaker laying on the ground from that big chop, that was a shoot.
That's what I hear. I hear that chop was deadly. It was deadly. Did you take it?
No, I don't think I ever took it. If I did, I was running from it.
I think he chopped one of the guys at the gym because Khali, I don't know if he did anymore, but he used to live here in Houston, right?
Yeah.
And I remember he would come down to the gym sometimes and roll around with the guys, show them some pointers. I think he chopped one of the guys one time, did the Khali chop, and they sold that thing for about 21 days.
No, man, I think definitely Khali has a place inside the Hall of Fame. He's an enigma. He's a guy that that's once in a lifetime, or one of those guys that's like the ninth wonder of the world that you see few and far between guys like great Khali. Right now we see almost, a big giant, and guys like that, come through, and some of them last longer than others. Like, for instance, Big Show. Big Show's been around, for a giant longer than all of them.
25 years, 26 years, something like
that.
Yeah,
exactly my point. So there again, you got to look at careers, I think, a little bit different. Like you said, Khali had a country behind him as far as, I remember going to India and working there. I mean, it wasn't the greatest trip in the world. I was in the hospital for a week after I got back from over there. But it was literally one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life as a person who came from the neighborhood, who came from the hood, okay, who's we didn't have it all that great. And I knew a lot of, a hood that was a lot worse than my hood as well. But when you go to India, you're going to see the hood up close and personal, and you're going to say, thank God, my paradise, I can't wait to get back home to it. That's what that's what you would be saying after going to certain parts of India. Now you got your 5-star, India as well, where it's beautiful and palatial. So it's just an eye-opening experience that I could not. I wouldn't say it was worth getting sick for 5 days, but it was almost worth getting sick for 5 days to experience that. Seriously.
I remember we were sending guys over to India for a moment from reality wrestling to train Kali's students over there in India, and Rex Andrews was the first of the guys to go. Rex Andrews, the guy you had your last singles match with in reality wrestling, and he ended up in the hospital too. Do you remember this? Do you remember the story of him ending up in the hospital? I think I might be getting this wrong, Rex, and I apologize if I am. I think he got sick from the food. I think he ate something that he thought was a hamburger and then realized they don't eat cow in India. So he didn't know what he was exactly eating. And I don't know what it was either. But whatever it was, my man landed in the hospital from it. So
you know what I'm thinking, man? This brother, I mean, I think his immune system, is a lot strong. He's young. He can take it. Just don't drink the water. Don't have any ice cubes, any of that kind of stuff. I think that's what it was with me. It was an ice cube, I think, got me. But
he said over there, Kali, when they would go out, Kali, it was like the Beatles. Yeah. It was like JFK. It was like Elvis Presley, like Drake, like the biggest celebrity in the world.
Yeah, man.
When he walks the streets of India. Incredible. So yeah, definitely deserving of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, heck yeah. I played golf in India.
With Kali?
No.
I was about to say, how is he as a golfer? I would love to know that.
Me and Chris Nowinski, we played golf, and I got a photo of him and I playing golf in Mumbai. We had caddies and everything, man.
That's awesome.
It was an awesome day, man. We had people following us because actually a lot of people actually lived on the golf course. And it wasn't like a house. Okay, it was like a tent. It was crazy, man. It was a sight, for once in a lifetime experience that you could like I said, you couldn't pay for that wisdom and knowledge, and having that and knowing that it's after seeing that, like I say, how good you really got it. When you think you got it so bad, trust me, man, you see that you will have a total different realization what bad really is. Seriously.
Incredible. A couple super chats actually real quick before we have to go to a break, and I don't want to miss any of these. Nate, $5 says, who from WCW would you like to go see go in the Hall of Fame? I think you said yesterday the Nasty Boys, but was there anybody else who comes to mind?
Of course, we said Lex Luger. From WCW, who would I like to see go in that didn't become WWE guys? We was talking about referees. I think Nick Patrick should be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
I think Nick Patrick, what he did in WCW as well as WWE,
People forget. Do you remember the biggest? I think it's like the third biggest buy rate pay-per-view for a non-WrestleMania show is that Invasion pay-per-view. WWE versus WCW, where you had the inaugural brawl and all that stuff. People forget. I believe the co-main event to that show was Earl Hebner versus Nick Patrick.
Heck yeah, they put on a pretty good show too.
They did do a good match.
No, I'm serious, man. I think Nick Patrick, if anybody, he was always my go-to guy. I always needed Nick, roughing my matches if I could get him. He was always the guy I knew I could trust to make everything right, even when I, might have been slipping a little bit. He could help me. So 90%, at least 80% of my matches in WCW, Nick Patrick was the guy on the call every time, man. So yeah, Nick Patrick would be the guy I would think, to see going into the Hall of Fame.
I'm trying to think of another WCW guy who hasn't.
It really wasn't a whole lot of WCW guys that, come on. I'm not trying to bury anybody. I'm not trying to bury anybody or anything like that. And you could question, Harlem Heat, how did we get in? We were WCW guys, but I don't know. Maybe Lance Storm.
But Lance was in.
But Lance Storm is kind of like a WWE guy too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. You name me one. You give me one more deserving than Nick Patrick.
Charles Robinson.
He's a WWE guy.
Oh, he is now. Yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody who never went over. Who's somebody who never went over? Who was just straight up WCW as soon as that went under? Some of the people in the chat are saying Buff Bagwell.
Yeah.
That's an option.
Yeah. Your Public Enemy.
Public Enemy. I think they only did one WWE match.
Yeah.
You know what? We were talking about him the other day. The Insane Clown Posse.
They weren't WCW guys, man. Come on, they were just coming through. Stick around, guys. We got to take a break. We'll be back in a minute. Continue the Clown Posse.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityofwrestling.com for all the information. Starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Hey, Hall of Fame going down 2021. You say Batista got snatched out because, like I say, want to get people in there for Batista. And like I said, I understand that. But another name announced, Kane will be stepping inside the Hall of Fame, as well as he's going to be running for a second term as mayor of Knox County. So what do you think about my man Kane stepping inside the Hall of Fame?
Look, man, I can't think. We talk about, does this guy deserve it? Does this guy deserve it? Kane's one of those first ballot guys. It's like a no-brainer that Kane's going in the Hall of Fame. Came in 90 as Kane. I think it was 97. I think is when he came in 97, and he ran all the way up until 2018, 2019, nonstop.
He might have came in before that, though, didn't he?
Well, I think he came in as Isaac Yankem.
Yeah.
Fake Diesel.
Yeah.
And then he started as Kane. So he's been in WWE since probably 93, 94. But
yeah,
to go under that one gimmick Kane, and in some ways to make it just as iconic, and in some ways depending on what you think of, I mean, equal to in some character work even more than the Undertaker, because Kane didn't have really a variation in his character to the latter portion, whereas Taker always had kind of a constant variation. Kane was able to keep that character completely interesting without changing very much at all, except for his attire, for the majority of that run, until he went, unmasked, and there were some other things. But as far as a big man goes, durable. I never remember Kane having to take a lot of time off for an injury.
Oh, no.
I never hearing about him hurting anybody. I never hear any negative stories about Kane. The only thing you hear about Kane is, man, that's like the smartest guy in the locker room. That's the only story you hear.
Yeah.
So beyond a Hall of Fame career, he's one of those rare few guys who, are more than deserving.
I remember maybe a couple of years ago, we were in the locker room, Kane and I, and that's when they were doing a lot of the Legends contracts, and they were calling everybody to give them Legends contract, and they was talking about calling one guy, and Kane and I was sitting there talking about it because the guy came and asked what we thought about this guy getting a Legends contract. I'm not going to say his name or anything like that. And Kane goes, man, come on, man. Come on. He goes, look, you a legend. I'm a legend. He's not a legend. And that guy didn't get a contract either. Because it was true, man. It was true too, but they were calling everybody, I think it was because of the video game and they wanted to get everybody on there. And it was crazy.
But think about Kane. I mean, the Undertaker, such a force, right? I mean, this mystical Undertaker, his size, the character, the gimmick, so great. And to find somebody who was able to play that foil and be just as physically imposing, and I think Kane was actually bigger than the Undertaker.
Yeah.
So to be bigger than the Taker, and have a guy where Taker can work and Taker can get sympathy from, right? I mean, because Taker normally wrestling guys who are much smaller than him.
Yeah.
So to have somebody who's just as physically imposing play your brother and then have his own career.
We talked about magic in wrestling, and Kane had somewhat like magic, right?
Right, with the fire and
with his entrance, which was really, yeah. So I think I think it is a place for stuff like that too. We was talking about that. It is a place to still suspend the imagination with a character like Kane, who could actually come out there and pull that off. So
it's about pulling it off, but also
it's like not to cut you off. It's
you're good.
It's like, you remember when the Undertaker came out and electricity was going through the air. Mm-hmm. It was like, wow, this is really cool. You can, you hear the thunder, in the clouds, so you can actually take yourself there and fall in love with that type of character. Like people fell in love with those characters like Kane and the Undertaker for so many years. Kids became grown men still believing in those characters.
Yeah. And it's all about, how you say your first impression's a lasting impression? Kane has to have one of the top 5 entrances in WWE history. I mean, as far as introductions go.
Yes.
When he came out, he interrupts Shawn Michaels and Undertaker's match at Hell in a Cell, comes out to the Hell in a Cell, rips the door off of the cell. Bare hands, grabs it, rips it off, goes in the ring, slams the Undertaker. The fire comes out of the posts, and then there's Vince saying, "That's gotta be Kane. That's gotta be Kane. That's gotta be Kane." It's such a great entrance. It's one of the best debuts in the history of the business. The only guy I put above him is probably Jericho. Had such a great debut in WWE.
Man,
Jericho's was iconic, but Kane's is right up there. It's one of the best of all time.
Definitely.
And to see him, like I said, do it as long as he did, always be relevant. There was never a time where you weren't excited to see Kane. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, man. Definitely deserving of taking that walk and saying his piece and thanking the fans more importantly than anything, because I always thought that's what the Hall of Fame was, a chance for guys like myself who, man, I always say, man, if it wasn't for the fans, I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have, got that far. And I know it sounds cliche, but it's true though, because those fans at WCW, I remember at Center Stage, Peachtree, man, they used to be so rabid, man. They used to be so wild for Harlem Heat and Sister Sherry. And I remember the Ramada Inn, we used to call it the dungeon, man. We used to be at the dungeon every week, man. It was like the biggest party going on in the world, and all of the fans would show up. All of our fans would. It was great. So definitely, yeah, man. Those days.
Shout out to Kane. And speaking of Kane, Stellar Justin Lopez with the $5 says, with Dallas, Texas announced for next year's WrestleMania, do you think Undertaker is a lock to finally go in the Hall of Fame? I know Taker's a Texan, right? He's from Houston, lives in Austin, I believe, or outside of Austin.
Yeah.
But Dallas is just as good as any other city. His start in WCCW and all that stuff. So do you think Taker will go in next year in Dallas?
Yeah, I think it's time.
Yeah.
I think there's no reason to wait. And, we know, if that's the way the ballots go, well, Undertaker's, he's, retired. His name has come up. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? Of course. So I think that would be the perfect place to actually do it. The crowd's going to be back in the arena. It's going to be sold out, and I think it will be, just perfect timing. Yeah.
Taker deserves his own wing in the Hall of Fame, right? I mean, you could induct every variation of his character. Every variation of the Undertaker's career is a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely, I'm looking forward to actually seeing if that play out. I mean, I'm gonna be looking for that actually now next year to see if that actually go down. Like I say, I'm hoping for the Nasty Boys.
Here's one from WCW that Chad is saying.
Who's
Tell me
that?
if you agree with this. Raven.
Yeah. Raven's definitely in the Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, no doubt.
I agree with that.
I mean, Scotty the Body. I mean, this dude is he's done so much, and he was such a guy that I think was, I wouldn't say before his time or anything like that, but he was definitely innovative to the point that you knew Raven was different than anybody else on the card. Okay? When that guy came out and his music played, you knew Raven, not just the name Raven, you knew this guy was something a little bit more special than that, because I was a huge fan of, quote the Raven, nevermore. I mean, that right there it sucked you in. It made you feel like, man, I want to be a part of this. It was like he was like a cult, something like that. As well as the way he came up through the business down there in Dallas, and he cut his teeth. So yeah, I would definitely say yeah.
Raven was great. Raven was great, and
Scott Levy.
Scott Levy, his real name Scott Levy. I went to Edgar Allan Poe Elementary School, so we knew the Raven, the poem by heart. So when I turned on wrestling and I see a guy saying "quote the Raven, nevermore," I was like, "Who is this guy? And why is he reading poetry that was written in the 1800s?" And then he really, like you said, he could draw you in. He had that Jake the Snake quality where he never yelled in his promos. They were always very quiet. And if he would yell, it would be because he's emoting about something that was so important, and he needed you to hear that. But man, Raven, yeah.
I always thought Raven should have been a much bigger star. Yeah.
The thing about Raven too, I agree he should have been a bigger star, and it's incredible that we're talking about him being in the Hall of Fame, because he's one of those guys to where you say, "What's your favorite Raven match?" And I'm like, I don't know. No matches come to mind when someone says that, but that persona, that character, the look, the gimmick, the walk, the promo, All of that comes to mind.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks volumes about his career.
Definitely. Good choice. Good choice. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back.
WWE Hall of Famer, back in the day, many, many years ago, one of the top 5 workers in the world.
All time.
You remember when you pulled that rib way back in the day in WCW? And the whole locker room got all stirred up about it.
You know, especially Regal. Regal hated me, man, for doing that. He wanted to fight me all the time for doing that stupid deal. But hey, man, you know what though? I believed it. You know, I believed it back then, man. I had to make myself believe it, man. In that locker room, you know, it was a lot of top flight talent, man. Like yourself, like Jericho, and so Eddie, so many others, man. And if I didn't do that, but more importantly, though, Steve, I went out and backed it up a lot of times too, man. I went out and worked my ass off to be, who I became. Boom! Talking to Hall of Fame right now, guys, and you are inside the Hall of Fame with my man Brad Gilmore. You know who I am, five-time WCW champ. But it's been a little bird chirping. It's been a little bird chirping about another person that may be taking the walk inside the hall. Did you hear anything about that? Did you hear anything? Huh, Brad? No. I guess Brad
Can you
didn't
hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you. I mean,
I was saying, is that bird's name? Does it sound something like snafu? Does it rhyme with that? Is that bird's name Sabu?
Yeah, that's the bird. That's the bird that was chirping.
I heard the bird and I heard his word.
Yes, and RVD is going inside the Hall of Fame. I don't know if that's been have that been confirmed or anything.
That has not been confirmed anywhere.
I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I'm not gonna sit here and even try to speculate on that right there. But then again, let's speculate on it. Should RVD be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
come on.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I put this kid on the map.
Because of you. Only because of you.
I mean, come on. I mean, I got this kid a tag team championship around his waist. If it wasn't for me, I mean, come on. I mean, what would have become?
No one would have ever heard of him.
No one would have ever heard. No, I'm just playing. RVD, he definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. What he, brought to the world, just from the ECW stuff that he did, definitely he was one of those guys to where I talk about his name get there well before he does.
Yep.
That's RVD. Man, who's RVD, man? You know he's somebody. So all of the stuff Rob is did, in the business, but everything that he has put in as far as his body goes. I mean, Rob was one of those guys that always threw caution to the wind. A guy that was never hurt, missing in action as far as, going out and getting the job done. Was Rob one of those guys that was floated to his own boat? Yeah. I mean, like him and I one time, we went the wrong way on the highway because he was driving, and we got to the show at 7:30 and the show started at 7. And it was like, he wasn't worried about it. It was like, man, we here, man. I mean, if they have to move the matches around, they move. He's always been just laid back. He's always been, whatever. Let's get this done, man. Which is for me.
And what makes him so laid back?
Probably, the cannabis. What? I'm just being real, man. I'm serious, man. And
that could be a cause.
You don't know he's an advocate. Rob is a huge
Yeah.
advocate. You know.
Well, you remember his documentary that came out? What was it? 2 years ago?
Yeah.
With all the concussions. I mean, there's a lot of links to brain rehabilitation from concussion repeated damages like wrestling and cannabis medical marijuana. So
Well, I mean, this many years later, NBA, NFL, WWE, all have laxed that policy.
right.
Okay, because
As more states legalize it for all
yeah, I
purposes.
mean, yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things. Rob was ahead of the curve. No, I'm serious. He was a guy that was literally, leading the charge and was willing. And the thing is, that's one thing about Rob. He was always willing to throw caution to the wind in the ring as well as out of the ring too, because it was something that he believed in.
Right.
He believed in it more than anybody else, even more than myself. And I say all the time, I tell my students all the time, when you're 99% about something, you keep your mouth shut. But when you're 100%, you speak up 100% of the time. And sometimes you might get fired because of speaking up, but it's something that you really believe in. That's Rob Van Dam in the ring as well as out of the ring. So is he a Hall of Famer? Of course. Is he a ballader? I don't know. This probably is like third or fourth ballot. You never know. But do he deserve to be his Hall of Fame? Yeah, man, I think so.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, former WWE champion. He was former ECW champion. Came back for that short run, and what was it, 2014 maybe? He came back to WWE for a short time. Had a series of matches with Alberto Del Rio, and then went over to TNA to Impact for a while. And it's only right that if as he's winding down the old career, that he finishes where really. I mean, even though in ECW got put on the map, really, RVD became a household name in the WWE, and so obviously, 100% he deserves to go in the Hall. But I did want to ask you. I know we've been talking about Hall of Famers this week. It's really been Hall of Fame week. But on the road to WrestleMania, there's always a few stops. There's always a few announcements that might make you say, "Oh wow, it's going to be an interesting match at WrestleMania." And one of them was made official on Monday. And the only reason I bring it up is because it involves your boy, Bad Bunny, and The Miz, one-on-one at WrestleMania. Now, the rumor was going to be, Bad Bunny, Damian Priest versus Miz and Morrison. That's what everyone thought was going to happen. It's now straight up singles, Bad Bunny versus The Miz at WrestleMania.
I don't know if you saw the poster, but The Miz was still in the background and Damian Priest.
Oh yeah, Morrison. They're in the back. They're going to be
So
accompanying.
we still got a lot of time. I mean, it's still a lot of time.
Like 2 weeks.
I mean, that's plenty of time to make a tag match. I mean,
what would be funny?
I'm not saying I want to see a tag match. Me personally, I would love to see a singles match with Bad Bunny and The Miz, more so just because I think The Miz is a general. Okay, I really do. I think The Miz has earned his stripes as far as being able to go out in the middle of the ring and create Shakespeare, whether you like him or not. Okay, and I'm not just saying this. Whether you like The Miz or not, he knows what he's doing in the middle of the square circle. And sometimes, when you got someone like Bad Bunny, if he got a little bit of training and he can listen, keep his ears open, I'll take you to the promised land. I think The Miz in that situation would do very well with Bad Bunny. And I see people, before we even move a little bit further, I saw a lot of people giving me a lot of flack about Bow Wow. Okay,
Which I didn't understand.
Which I don't understand either. And the reason I brought it up is because Bow Wow, he tried to write his own angles. The way Bad Bunny got in, he wrote a song about me. Okay, people liked it. WWE say, man, let's bring this guy in. Okay, something sparked. We got something, but you just want to write your own show Write your own angles.
Like DC.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. You know what I mean? So, as far as Bad Bunny, the Miz go, I love to see Miz in that situation just to see if he can control that situation and get something out of it at the same time. I'm looking for Shakespeare here. I'm looking for the ultimate performance, and sometimes the as quirky as it sounds, Miz versus Bad Bunny, it may turn out to be something that's memorable, like Booker T and Stone Cold in the grocery store. You never know. I'm just saying.
You never know. You never know. We have to go to break here in just a second, but I want to get to this last super chat before we do. Angel Mech with the $5 saying Tajiri needs to be in possibly. He's a bamf. Tajiri in the Hall of Fame. Maybe someday. I don't know. Tajiri's not a name that pops out to me as a Hall of Famer, but
nah, man.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I'm gonna plead ignorance because I don't know a whole lot about Tajiri outside of
Tajiri, ECW.
Oh, Yoshihiro Tajiri when he was over there. I just didn't see enough of it.
Let me tell you, when Tajiri was billed in ECW, you thought Godzilla was coming to America.
Right.
I'm not playing. He was such a like he was like the most dangerous, professional wrestler you ever want to see in ECW. When he used to, put that tarantula on guys, which was the first time I had ever saw that, I was like, man, who was this guy? He really brought realism to professional wrestling when they brought him in, to ECW. And then, of course, what he did with WWE. I wrestled Tajiri in Japan,
Oh, really?
2003 or something like
The
that.
Japanese buzzsaw.
I'm serious, man. I'm serious, man. So definitely, Tajiri is a bona fide Hall of Famer. As soon as they call his number, Tajiri is going to be making that walk inside the Hall of Fame because he is definitely, truly bona fide Hall of Fame worthy. That's just my opinion, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
And here we go. Oh, the rules are simple. There are very few. Oh, my God! No, winding up here. Oh, maximum velocity. Bartow goes for a ride, and that is not a soft landing. I can assure you of that. Official can do absolutely nothing about it. Even Max Humberto is disturbed by his own actions. Wait a minute. Oh, no. God in heaven! God in heaven! Put a stop to this!
And Max Humberto is the new Reality of Wrestling Texas champion.
Oh, shoot. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. I'm over here jamming, man. I mean, that music had me going like crazy.
Man, by the way, speaking of the jams, I know that you're a Bruno Mars fan, right? You think Bruno Mars gets that? Have you heard his new record?
Yeah, I heard it.
That thing is hot.
Yeah, he's a definitely he's different, man. He's different.
Well, he's the throwback.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that's gonna make you feel when you listen to his music. And the thing is, you could tell he's feeling his music when he's doing it too. That's what's so cool about that dude, man.
Yeah, no, that new record jams, and I love the name of the band. He's doing like a collaborative project, and it's called Silk Sonic. That just sounds sweet. You know
Sounds
what I mean?
sweet. Yeah.
Sounds sweet. And I think Bootsy Collins is producing the album, so I mean, he's doing it the right way. He's doing it the right way, Booker T.
Definitely, just that name it kind of like gets you in the mood.
100%.
Makes you want to go to the club. Put some of your best flies gear on and just walk in there and make heads turn. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can't wait to the world open back up, man. You know what I mean? So I can put on something real nice and walk in, so heads could, hey, that's Booker T. Yeah, that's him. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? It's one of them type of deals, I miss that, man. I miss it. So, but we may be able to do that coming up in Houston here pretty soon. Big show, big UFC going down in Dallas. So definitely am thinking about, getting ready to get back out there. Like I say, I almost got that second dose of Moderna. But I wish I'd had the Johnson & Johnson, man, so I could have just
That
got the
one
one
shot.
it would have
Yeah,
been
I'm with
all
you.
over with. You know what I mean? This 2-shot thing, man. I'm like, man, come on, let's get this. It's been like the longest month waiting to get this second dose. You know what I mean? So just hopefully we're gonna get another freeze or nothing. You know what I mean? Because get another freeze, they're gonna push us back. So definitely looking forward to getting back out in the world and having some fun, man. Put some clothes on, having some fun, taking a mask off and having some fun. That's what
I'm so ready to take that mask off, man. I can't tell you how ready I am. We had a few questions come in via social media regarding WrestleMania, and in this is our last segment tonight. So before we wrap them up, we might as well get to them. At Derek Davis at Derek 69866 that's easy to remember. Wants to know, should Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair main event WrestleMania 37 night 1?
Oh man,
I think currently the planned main event for night 1 is Bobby and Drew. Is this match bigger than that one?
I'm not gonna sit here and say if the women's match should be the main event, on the first night or the second night. I'm just not finna say that. We got some big things that's planned for WrestleMania, I'm sure. And put the carriage before the horse. I just think that's kind of like just doing things for certain reasons. And I just don't think we should look at things like it's a us against them situation. And I think a lot of times, a lot of people want to look at it like it's us against them, and I just don't think that. Bianca Belair, okay, this is her first big time under these bright lights, and you put her in WrestleMania in the main event, her first time out. I'm not saying it's too big for her or anything like that. I'm not saying that she can't go out there and rise to the occasion. I'm not saying that at all. But I always think about my talent when I have someone that I think that's special. I'm going to protect them as much as I possibly can. I'm going to take care of them, make sure I put them in the best position to go out there and succeed. Okay. And I say that, because I was just saying that about Eric Bischoff just on Monday night. He put me in a position to succeed. He never put me in a position, like I said, I never took the diamond cutter. Okay. I never took, any of those moves that, most of those guys were taking around there, the spear from Goldberg. I never got to the Goldberg spear and all of that stuff. I never did that. So I always think about protecting my talent as much as I possibly can, but can Bianca go out there and pull it off? Not saying that at all. I'm sure she probably can. But I don't know. Let's see how this thing play out.
Here's another question coming in from at Texan Gamer 13. He said, Booker T, do you remember your tag team championship fatal 4-way match with Rob Van Dam at WrestleMania 20?
Yeah, man, I remember a little bit of it.
Who'd y'all work?
Yeah, I can't remember.
You can't remember a WrestleMania match?
You know what, man? I didn't. It's not something that I know we won. Okay,
Y'all did win.
Yeah, I do know that. I know we won. But wrestling matches a blur to me, man. As far as who did we work that night, what we were doing that night. Me and Rob, we was thinking about partying after the show. We were thinking about going down the road. I'm not saying this is, but I think this was before I was married, right?
This is 2004.
Yeah. So I got married in 2005. So me and Rob, we was looking for a adult establishment to go and sit down and have a cold beverage or something. So we weren't thinking about
I will tell you that night, see if this brings back any memories. You worked Fatal 4-Way match. It was you and Rob defending the titles. against La Resistance, Rene Dupree and Rob Conway, Garrison Cade and Mark Jindrak, and the Dudley Boys.
No, I don't remember it.
Woo, I don't remember that either.
Nah, man, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I do remember that match. I don't. Look, working with La Resistance, that's not a memory that I really want to have. Okay, I'm serious. Like,
What was wrong with La Resistance?
There's nothing wrong with them, but it's not like that's not like one of the most lasting memories that I'm gonna have. Like, man, that had to be one of the most awesome matches that I was ever in. No, it's not gonna be like that. So me and Rob, our reign, our tag team title reign. Do you know how long it was?
No.
1 month.
Is that it? Well, it's a memorable month because I remember y'all as the champions.
I mean, we rose to the occasion. We went out there and won, but they couldn't. Look here, man. They couldn't have that much star power in one team. We was like the modern day mega powers. So they had to break that up relatively
Which
quick.
one was Hogan?
Which
one was Macho?
RVD was Hogan.
Also, that's a WrestleMania announcement too. Hulk Hogan and Titus O'Neil are going to be the official hosts of WrestleMania. That was announced. Titus O'Neil becomes the first 2-time consecutive host of WrestleMania. So look at that. Jake Thompson wants to know, was Sting losing in his WrestleMania debut a mistake?
I think so. I think Sting. He had so much to offer, even though we were behind the curve as far as how much time we still had left with Sting. We all know that, okay? But I'm just one of those guys, and like I'm thinking from a promoter's standpoint. I say, man, if we could get something out of this guy, let's do it. Let's do it right now. It's just like when, for instance, the Rock and Roll Express came into Houston and one of our tag teams couldn't make it. And the Rock and Roll Express, they were there. And they were just there to be the honorary, tag team there just to give out the trophy. But they say, man, you guys are down a tag team. We're willing to be in the tournament. And me as a promoter, I'm like, the Rock and Roll Express is in the tournament. They got to win it, just for the nostalgia purposes. And man, if we could get 6 months out of this, boom, we could get 6. That's the way I'm thinking, So if we could have got 6 months out of Sting, being the word around the internet, people wondering, a buzz. So I think, I think Sting could have delivered a whole lot more if Sting would have won that first night. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's the way I saw it. Guys, I want to thank you guys for sticking around in the Hall of Fame again, man. I got to get ready to get up out of here because early in the morning I got a golf practice, with my coach. Brandon, I hope he's ready because I'm ready. Thank you guys again, Bradley. I appreciate you, as always, for making sure everything's right. Everything. I'm like Apollo Crews right now, man, talking with the accent. But right now, guys, we up out of here. We holler at you.
Can you dig it?